What if I told you that even after death, black people weren't safe from slavery? In the 1800s, in the American South, medical schools were desperate for human bodies to dissect. Laws didn't protect the bodies of enslaved or free black people. White doctors would pay grave robbers to steal corpses, sometimes from freshly dug graves. These thieves were called the resurrection men. And in some horrifying cases, black people were forced to dig up the graves of their own communities, handing over the bodies to scientists who studied them without consent. Families lived in fear, guarding cemeteries at night, because the people who had been enslaved in life could be desecrated in death. One man, a free black janitor, secretly became part of this terrible system, knowing his own community would never rest in peace. His story reminds us that the cruelty of slavery didn't end at the plantation gates. It followed black people into death, into medicine, and into history books that pretended it never happened. These are the truths that textbooks hide. The truths that shock, horrify, and remind us why remembering black history matters.
Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, the bodies of deceased black and enslaved people were systematically stolen and exploited by the American medical community to serve the growing demand for cadavers for anatomical dissection. This practice stemmed from a combination of legal restrictions, social dehumanization, and racial discrimination. A high demand and an illegal market. The demand for cadavers surged in the 18th and 19th centuries as medical schools expanded and prioritized hands-on anatomical study. However, the supply of legally obtainable bodies was extremely limited. Most states only permitted the dissection of executed criminals, a punishment seen as a social disgrace. This created an illegal, body-snatching, market to supply the cadavers medical schools needed. Black cemeteries became primary targets for grave robbers, also known as resurrectionists, because black people, whether enslaved or free, were dehumanized and lacked the political and social protections afforded to white citizens. Methods of exploitation. Targeting black cemeteries. Grave robbers targeted black burial grounds, which were often isolated and lacked the resources for sophisticated security. In 1788, freed black people in New York petitioned the city to protect their cemetery from looting by medical students, but their plea was ignored. Purchasing enslaved bodies. Some slave owners sold the bodies of deceased enslaved people directly to medical schools for profit, essentially trafficking them as medical resources even after death. For example, the Medical College of Georgia bought an enslaved man named Grandison Harris in 1852 to work as a resurrectionist, stealing bodies for the school. A transatlantic trade. Research indicates the existence of an elaborate transatlantic cadaver trade, in which the bodies of black people were trafficked to American medical schools. Violent folklore. The terror of this practice became embedded in African American folklore, giving rise to stories of night doctors who would abduct, kill, and dissect black people. The medical establishment's complicity. Many medical schools were fully aware of, and even complicit in, the illegal trade of human remains. Recruiting students. In the 19th century, medical schools in the South advertised their access to an abundant supply of cadavers, with Southern medical facilities being particularly dependent on enslaved black bodies for dissection. Using enslaved laborers. Some institutions, like the Medical College of Georgia and the Virginia Medical College, employed enslaved or formerly enslaved people as grave robbers to acquire bodies. The legacy of this exploitation has had a profound and lasting impact on the relationship between the black community and the medical establishment. Deep-seated mistrust. Historical abuses, from grave robbing to unethical experiments like the Tuskegee syphilis study and the unauthorized use of Henrietta Lacks' cells, contribute to a deep-seated mistrust of the medical system among African Americans. This mistrust has had lasting impacts on issues such as medical research participation and organ donation. Recent discoveries and apologies. Modern institutions continue to grapple with this dark history. In 1989, thousands of bones used for dissection were discovered beneath the Medical College of Georgia, with approximately 75% belonging to African Americans. In 2021, the University of Pennsylvania issued a formal apology for its historical use of unauthorized human remains. As in life, the bodies of enslaved people were also exploited in death, either consigned for dissection by their masters or robbed from their graves. Yet there were never enough legally available bodies, so grave robbing flourished.
Hey everyone. If you love hidden Black history stories, you have to subscribe to Black History Stories 13, the channel where we uncover shocking truths they never taught in school. But that's not all. Check out Politics Global 1 for the latest political news and global events. And don't miss Alcabulan Reset 101, where we dive into history, culture, and ideas that will make you think differently. Hit subscribe on all 3 channels. Turn on the bell and join the community that's uncovering history, sharing knowledge, and changing the conversation. Don't wait. Subscribe now.